here with the US Chartbreakers here at Zacks Traders Cafe for Thursday, the 26th of June. Starting off with the S&P, which is making good progress after the latest gap to the upside. Unfilled gap through resistance tends to be a real show of strength, and we've already seen progress above the 6,000 level. The floor of the gap there at 60.25, and at least while 60.28 rather, than at least while we're above that, looking for not only a retest of 61.50 highs of the year, but up to as high as 63.30, the top of that post-May 2024 broadening triangle. Any dips towards that gap floor are currently regarded as a buying opportunity. The other point to note is the way that since the end of April, we have the RSI totally above or wholly above the neutral 50 level with bounces like that in the 50s, and that tends to be a leading indicator on the upside, as it has already been. Moving on to the Nasdaq, which, if anything, is in a stronger position than the S&P. Here you can see that we've gone to new highs for the year within that broadening triangle from May last year, and top of that triangle heading for as high as 23,000, which we're looking for by the end of next month or even sooner, while we're above the latest 21,800 gap floor. Ideally, we stay on the right side of 22,000, given that was the broken resistance level. Once again, the RSI has been above neutral 50 for a long time, since the end of April. Moving on to the stocks, and starting off with the stock which we covered quite recently, Anbio. Here we were guessing where the top of the rising trend channel was, obviously 2260, the area there, and then the next level up, the upper parallel of that channel, hit as resistance yesterday at around the $35.90 level. Current position is that we're looking at the range of yesterday, which was basically $10. So take the mid-range of that, $27. Above that, looking for a retest of the $36 area over the next week or two. Moving on to a situation not quite as dynamic as that, but still interesting enough, Aeluma, and here you've got a rising trend channel, steep one, and the view here is that we're going to make progress within that rising trend channel from back in the spring, top of the channel there, heading for $23, and we're looking for that by the end of next month, while we remain above the floor of the channel there, around $14.70. Moving on to another decent situation, which is AeroVironment, and here you can see that we've got a rising trend channel. We've gapped up through the resistance there from November last year, and the view now is that we're going to hopefully stay above the floor of the channel there around 205. While we do that, we could head up as high as $300 by the end of next month. In terms of a tighter stop loss, probably just an end of day close below yesterday's low, 223, the tightest it could be. On to Bumble, and here the situation is that of another stock which has gapped up off the floor of the rising trend channel. In this case, it's a bear trap pattern reversal, so gapping down in February, gapping up now. The view is that while we're above recent neckline resistance, $6.20 on an end of day close basis, looking at $10 as soon as the end of next month. Very strong setup there with that bear trap island reversal. The situation at Circle Internet, interesting at the moment in the sense that we hit our guesswork upper target at the upper parallel there, $250. Come back looking for support at the previous target there, 180, so above 180, looking for a retest of the 250 level. But what a chart that's been over the near term. The chart of the next stock is also of interest at the moment, Fuel Tech, beautiful rising trend channel there. Top of the channel there from February as high as the $3.30 level, looking for that by the end of next month or even sooner, while we remain above the floor of the channel at $2.30. So it may represent for some a reasonable risk-reward situation. The MicroStrategy situation is also looking interesting at the moment. We've had a decent consolidation there around the $357 mark, looking for the shares to at least get up to the top of the recent range towards $430 by the end of next month or even sooner. The main thing here is that we keep the momentum and the RSI above the neutral 50 at 55 as it is at the moment. The current position of the next stock is also worth keeping an eye on. We've had various targets here. First target around 370, second one around the $5 mark, and the third one hopefully as high as $6.80 by the end of next month, while we especially rather remain above recent support towards $4. Nvidia is next, and that's on the basis that it's had a stellar recovery after being one of the hardest hit in April. We've come back, and looks like we're heading for the top of that broadening triangle there at $166. Looking for that by the end of next month, especially while or in the wake of the two unfilled gaps to the upside. This is absolutely amazing, all the gaps we've had higher in this situation. Once again, the RSI has not been below neutral 50 since the end of April, so nearly 2 months of solid gains. The chart of Necktar is next, and here another guesswork situation, but you can see that the initial target there, the $18.80 level, the top of that broadening triangle base, second target up to $35, and we're still looking for a retest of that while we're above the old resistance there at $22. In terms of a stop loss, perhaps the Tuesday resistance at $27, $27.70 could be a place that would work in terms of those trying to run the position longer. Moving on to Poet, and here the picture is of a rebound with a gap, which is the sort of thing we like. Rising trend channel there, top of the channel there, just shy of $6, and we're looking for that while we're above recent broken resistance at $4.80 on an end of day close basis. Finishing off with a decent riser, and it is urgently here. We've had another gap higher. What's interesting here is that we're trying to avoid the recent pattern in the stock, which is that every time there's a sharp rally, there's a sharp sell-off, and the shares are smashed down. Looking for $12.50 while we're above yesterday's support at $6.70 on an end of day close basis. That's it from me today. More updates tomorrow.